Now, I'm Jaden D'Souza, and we are here from Don Bosco Institute of Technology from Kurla. We are here representing Xanthium Racing Electric, that's the name of our team. Our aim is to provide our public with high-power electric race cars. We strive to attain experience and technical expertise in our journey. And a little bit more about us, about our main goal here, is to take part into the EV market, right, and succeed there as a fresh team. A little bit about our work ethos. We believe we've derived our work ethos from a Japanese work organization called the 5S method. The 5 S's stand for Seiri, which means to sort out your priorities. Seiton, to set those priorities in order. Seiso, which means to standardize your marketing processes, your production processes, etc. Seiketsu, which means to sustain your finished product. And Chitsuke, which means simply to shine, to come up in the market. Understanding the market. The Indian Go Kart market revenue was estimated at around 52 million, with a growth with a CAGR of about 10%. Worldwide, motorsports generated a revenue of $180 billion, which is not an easy amount. A little bit about our product. So our race car is capable of going to great speeds at about 80 kilometers per hour without having any problems that are associated with handling or any other kind of dynamics. A few features that our race car does possess would include small dimensions, really good handling characteristics. It's completely electric, a really fast acceleration with high torque. Our product contains a 6 kilowatt motor, 72 volts, and a 60 Ah battery. SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A little bit about our strength. We believe in calculation of risk beforehand. Now, the complete risk cannot be zero for any kind of product, but we do believe in minimizing it to the maximum. We do easily adapt to the market, and we've got a few realistic targets. A few weaknesses would be the dependency of our product on external factors and high cost of materials. Opportunities that we're looking forward to go through would be the growing trend in motorsports, a push in technology and encouragement by our government, and a few threats would be the competitive pressure. As I'm sure we all felt it before team, we were pretty good in what they're doing, and I'm sure all the teams that have qualified here are pretty good in what they're doing. Competitive pressure, any regulatory challenges or technological developments. Sales and marketing strategies. A few sales strategies we have would be going through social media platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. Digital marketing, strategic pricing models. A few of our marketing strategies would be targeting digital advertisements, getting sponsorships for our product, tying up with local businesses, getting partnerships with different businesses, developing a mobile app for enhanced customer experience, etc. To speak more about our financial projections, I'm going to call our
Good afternoon, panel. So this is the cost breakdown of the car that we have made right now. As you can see, the cost to build one car has been mentioned in the first column in the year 2022. The price that we have mentioned is the same cost that we have incurred right now while making our electric car. So as we can see, we have mentioned the sales that we made that year and also the cost that we have incurred while actually building the car. We have also stated the revenue by setting the selling price of one car by gauging it with the price that the same characteristic go-karts are selling in the market. And also, since we are making a prototype race car, it is important to invest in R&D and other investments. And that is why we have decided to open an R&D center and we will be investing a huge sum of money into it. So for the first year, the overall profit for both the investor and the company itself won't be much, whereas the whole profit will be diverted to the next year. As we can see, the cost to build one car goes on decreasing as the years progress. That is because the cost of the batteries that we have to bear decreases year on year, whereas the selling price of the car will gradually increase as and how the inflation increases. Also, the sales of the number of cars that will be sold each year will also increase gradually, initially because of word of mouth, and after that by through other sales and marketing strategies. So, so, so we are here to have an initial investment ask of rupees 1 crore at 20% stake in our company. We also want to state that 15% of revenue is diverted to R&D, except for the first year where we invest the entire amount. For the initial 5 years, the profit to the investors will be 15% of the entire profit, except for the first year where we won't be giving any profit. After that, we'll be giving about 25% of the profit to the investors. Now moving forward, we have projected the cost of battery that has been associated all these years. So this is an official data from Bloomberg, starting from the year 2010 all up to year 2020. As you can see, there's an exponential decrease in the cost of the batteries that the manufacturer has to incur. Also, the price has dropped to $39 per kilowatt hour, which was initially about 160. So this is the layout of the manufacturing facilities. We'll first be having the inventory area where we will be keeping all the goods that we'll be receiving for the manufacturing. The next will be the manufacturing floor wherein we'll be making all the parts that will be required for the assembly. After that, we move on to the assembly line wherein we'll be completing the assembly of our entire car, which will also be followed by the quality control and testing, the borders, and then visual inspection, after only which the part will be rolled out. So some of the safety protocols that we have listed here and will be following now will be stringent employee training, emergency response plan, safety signage, height and age restrictions, protective gear requirements, surveillance systems, access control, first aid stations, fire safety, drills, regular staff meetings, and customer safety audits and briefings. Now moving forward, this is the risk avoidance strategy that we have listed here. Some of the risks that we face is economic instability, weather dependence, the acceptance in the market, regulatory compliance, and also collaboration success. So some of the exit strategies that we have listed here consist of sale of business, franchising, strategic partnership, diversification, and also an initial public offering. Some of the solutions to these risks and risks are diversifying the revenue streams, some marketing campaigns and promotions, and then continuous communication and value addition. Moving forward, so we have moving forward with the future plan as to what we intend to do as we move forward with our business. We plan to collaborate with the Indian automobile manufacturer for some of the critical components that are used in the EV segment. We also strive to participate in the national karting events and try to promote ourselves as one of the promoters in those events, because that is the place where most of the youth of the country participates and has an eye upon. Then also, based upon the experiences that we get from these karting events, we try to build a prototype and build a car that will be capable of participating in international karting events. After that, we'll be diving into designing a certain component that is used in certain Formula 1 and Formula E championships, that is help us gain technical expertise and better understanding of components that are used in and covered in some of the pinnacle of motorsport as we listed here. Then, after that, we'll be trying to enter into the certain top-tier motorsports events such as Formula E, and all these plans that we have listed here as a future plan will be over a time span of about 15 years, starting from 2023. Moving forward, so these are some of the benefits that we have listed here for you all as the investors and the partners. Being a partner in the early stage of the booming electric vehicle arena itself is a very big thing, we can say. We assure you all transparent company policies and that there will be no hidden rules or terms and conditions. Also, after some of the R&D and other designs. If there are some other breakthrough, we'll be making sure that names of the investors are there within the patent that we'll be filing. Also, we'll be doing some social media campaigning and other promotion where we'll make sure that some part, in some of the other part, we mentioned the name of our investors that have helped us to light through our journey. Then we'll also make sure that they get a fair share of their profit as I mentioned earlier in the slide. And we'll also be conducting certain workshops wherein we'll be informing all the investors about what all new technologies have been introduced and how we are working forward with it. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Go to the sales projections, please. How did you project this number, like 12, 21, and 2032, 820? What is the basis of that projection?
Yes, sir. So here we initially started with so we had contacted several uh, go-karting zones that we have in our area in Bombay, and we tried to find out as to how many number of cars that are required, and we took a rough idea as to pertaining to that how many number of cars will be required and how many of them can be acquired by all over India. So right now we'll be focusing on India itself, not worldwide.
This looks like this is some kind of formula that you guys have used to project this number. Because it is like 821. If it would be like something as in like 820, 850, 840, I would be ready to accept that. But since it is like very much odd, so
Yes,
I
sir.
feel that this is derived from something.
No, so initially, so what we have done is we have titled all the numbers till the sales. Cost incurred is basically just the.
No, I'm saying the and 683 in 2031. Why is it so odd? Like, if it would be 680, I would understand, okay, that is some target that you have set. Now, since there is some number which appears to be like it is derived from something. Like, is there any formula? Is there any survey or any projection that you have done? Or
So,
just, that is just a random number that you have put?
so sir, after using, it was basically after just using the formula that we used this quite some time ago, and after that we just rounded off the numbers to use this one.
Okay, what was the factors involved in that formula? What all were you considering?
So it was the number of sales that were done regarding to go-karts within India itself.
Okay, talking about 2024, what consumption do you see in the market? Like how many go-karts approximately will be sold in India?
So we about 4,500 to 5,000 rupees.
And this you are just selling 47. Why?
So sir, we tried not to
This is
exaggerate.
annually, huh?
Yes, sir, that's the amazing.
How many people do you have in your industry in 2024?
Within our company. So it is around 20 people.
What these 20 people are going to do making these 47 cars?
So sir, these include the sales and marketing team, the people who are working in the workshop while manufacturing the car.
But this don't you think number 47 is too less? I mean, how many days you are making a car to make? 20 days?
Yes, sir.
So when are you getting your break even?
Sir, in about
So that becomes very hectic for us to see the growth of the company. Because you started 12, okay, fine, we can understand. This is a starting time, you just started. You went up to 21, that's fine. But still you are 47, that brings us to conclusion that these 20 people are not efficient. Right? Like, these 20 people, team of 20 people, like they are including marketing, sales, designers, and etc. But this entire industry is just making 47 cars in India. So that is very much.
so that is catering to the
will there not be like a kart of 2022 and a kart of 2032? Will the technology also remain the same?
No, so there will be technological advancements as well. Right now, this is here we have assumed that the other technologies other than just the cost of the batteries and motors are constant. So this is one of the assumptions that we have made.
Like I can see like you have dipped the value in just a span of 10 years to 35,000 decrease in the
Yes, so
car,
that,
right?
that was
As
just
per the market trend, value of car doesn't go down such drastically.
yes, so that was just keeping in mind the cost of the batteries, which is quite a lot.
And will it be the same model?
Sorry, sir?
In 10 years span, if you're making the same model continuous,
So this, as I said, we are just assuming it to be the same car, and we are trying to
This is
project a certain.
very long projection that you are showing. Maybe 5 years is what we see, what we expect. But 10 years it is because it is very dynamic situation for technology for even the
Yes, sir.
potential customers. So maybe they will not be interested in buying the same product over the time, like after 10 years.
Yes, sir.
because your cost of building is showing it as 1,30,000, right? Proportionately, your selling price has gone up almost quite high.
Yes, sir.
But if I am to buy an Alto today, and then is I am going to buy the same Alto with a price hike of almost more than 60 to 70%, what new will I check onto that car or a car?
Yes, sir.
That's what my question is arising into. If I am to sell the same product every year and year, I don't think so anyone will invest into that.
And don't you think the selling price of car in 2024, 5 lakh, which appears in your car, I mean your product that you shown, is quite high as compared to the cars that are available in market?
So actually, we have used quite a powerful motor of 6 kilowatt, also with the operating at 72 volts and 60 amperes. So if we look at these aspects, it is the cost of the car right now in the market is around 4 to 4.5 lakhs.
What is the running time that it takes on a charge?
So on a full charge, the car can run at about 80 kilometers per hour top speed. At an average speed of 60 kilometers, it can run for about 35 kilometers and an acceleration for about 300 seconds.
The same if I would want your battery pack to be around 48 volts, what would be the difference into the cost and price here now?
So sir, if we are reducing the voltage, the number of cells in series would reduce. So that would obviously decrease the price of the total battery pack, which would in return also reduce the cost of the vehicle that will be desiring.
But as an investor today, based on the cost price or the selling price, based on the unit that you're selling, right? I wouldn't be ready to invest with 1 crore at 20% stake because I am not seeing any growth into my future to invest my 1 crore here.
Also, one of the major strides that we are making here is actually investing into R&D because we believe that we are making a prototype race car, so we need some.
But where is the R&D amount? You have mentioned a huge amount there for R&D, right?
Yes, sir.
But what R&D based on build up of your car for 10 years, you're making the same product. So what R&D are we doing with the amount? I guess there's a huge amount of.
It's really huge. But no R&D has been seen.
What is the R&D that's happening? As an investor, I'll see, okay, you have a plan to shoot up so and so product, or you have so advancements based on your pricing that I'm talking about just now. As okay, your vehicle can cut down prices of around 10, 20, 30,000. That's cool enough. But price hike of like purchasing the car in 2022, the same model for 4,50,000 and paying 2 lakh extra now with no advancement into the car, and we having a huge amount for R&D here. So what R&D is going on there?
So that R&D is mainly for another type of car that will be used in, as we have mentioned earlier, for some of the international karting events and building of prototypes for that kind of.
So how will the investor benefit through that?
So sir, with those parts that are made and manufactured, it will be bearing the logos of the investors and the company that will be investing into the product.
It's basically sort of a sponsorship, that's all.
Yes, sir.
as we do it for our normal cars.
Yes, sir.
And don't you think this margin, the profit margin, is quite unfair? Like manufacturing something at 165, selling it at 450, and then on the contrary, manufacturing it at 130, rather than decreasing the price, we are increasing. Is it not unfair?
So, sir, actually, generally what we have seen as the trend is that the price of a commodity, even though the cost of the raw material decreases, generally tends to either remain the same or it tends to increase a little bit.
So let's
In
say,
almost no case it has happened that the price has decreased. It is generally considered as a bad marketing strategy because the
and this is
general
the reason
public.
for a vehicle we have different models, because this vehicle procured is a like a customized entity. I mean, this cannot be kept in the same category. So this, since it has only one variant, so is it possible for us to increase the price when we are getting this manufacturing cost increase? And if we look at the market is competitive, and there are cars available with the same configurations, cheaper in the market.
So actually the price that you have mentioned is at the market level and the increase is also with respect to the inflation that is there with respect to other
Who
automobiles.
are the competitors who regularly considered,
So other go-karting manufacturers.
like any names?
So you were speaking something about franchising, right? How are you going to franchise the company?
So sir, we can some of the way that we can franchise is by actually diving into the international karting events and making it a separate entity as compared to just the normal go-kart manufacturing as it is presently.
But that's not franchising. Franchising is having outlets under your name and getting royalty into that, right? If you're talking about franchising your company, it's much more having your multiple outlets to various places and getting royalty through that.
So that can be
And how
done.
are you planning your royalty?
So that can be done by coming in partnership with several go-karting arenas and regions that are there, and then giving them the go-karts for a subsidized price, and then after for some duration, we can take royalty.
So in case as your selling price, this is to the direct customer, you're talking about 4,50,000, right?
Yes.
If you're selling it directly through from your plant, correct?
Yes.
So not everyone in India is going to just take it from your plant and sell. Based on your model, you'll have multiple dealerships sort of franchise as a normal automobile industry works in, right? How are you going to define the margins for them? Basis your selling price here.
I didn't get a question.
You have mentioned 4,50,000 for the customer pricing, right? So I want, based on your franchisee model, right? As you're franchising your model, what would be their purchase price?
Okay. So, sir, right now, as we have mentioned, 4.5 lakhs, if that is the selling price of one vehicle, and if we are trying to getting into franchising, we try to get down to a price of about 3,75,000.
But can we franchise a go-kart? Is it legally okay to have a?
Yes, sir, it shouldn't be a problem.
Have you seen any go-kart manufacturers in India?
Who are franchise?
Yeah, like and outlets. Legally, are we allowed to sell go-karts in the market? Any stores? Any legal? I just want to know about legal terms regards to selling a go-kart.
So,
Not aware. Sir, just for 2 minutes, if I could have of your time. Could you give us the major loopholes in our strategies here?
Firstly, foremost thing which I feel is this projection is very low.
Excuse me, sir.
It's very long. I mean, it's like 10 years projection we are giving. We don't know the dynamics.
because the market is very
Yes.
variable. You want it to just be a short
Like,
number of years.
it's like 5 years if you are giving, that's very good. That's more than sufficient that we.
Okay.
And
That's why.
second thing, the projection that you have shown, like 12, 21, 47, whatever it is, it must be having some basis, some grounds. Like, what are the requirements, what are the parameters that you have considered that you can sell this number?
So it shouldn't be a rough estimate. You're saying there should be basis.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the pricing. The pricing, it is, as we have discussed, more on the pricing. So you have to work out the pricing, keeping the competitors in market into account. Like, who all are the competitors? What are their products? How much are they selling it at? And how is yours better than that? And even then, how can you compete them in the pricing? Then, do you have any other models? Then we will have time to go on any other slide, unfortunately, because this took a lot. So this would be something that we would recommend you to make necessary provisions in the upcoming evaluations that you address to these points. And profit for investors in the short period of time is not a thing that he is expecting. The idea, how does it get spread into the market and basically getting your idea viral or your product
A
viral.
general strategy. Yes.
So that is what is.
And sir, you spoke about pricing. You asked us how our cart was different from others. Right. So like for example, the team before us, they did not have long term. They did not have a faster acceleration. Our speed is much more for our smaller dimensions of a car. Plus, our selling price for each is increasing, yes, but our cost to build one keeps decreasing because of mainly the major affecting factor in our
But
cost
for
to build.
sure, no one is gonna produce the same card for over 10
10
years.
years, yes, sir. That's true. But we consider a lithium ion battery, right? And the
We
cost
don't
keeps
know the next
decreasing,
year,
right?
since
Over the
the
years.
chemistry is changing too rapidly. We don't know next year, I mean after 10 years or maybe
There might
7
be
years,
something new.
the same battery would be existing.
Exactly.
It is already developed from lithium ion to lithium ion phosphate, ferrophosphate. It's already been transformed in a
Yeah.
span of a year.
And who knows, any other technology comes in and this hydrogen power
Hydrogen is
engine
into
is
place
placed
now.
into go-karts.
Outwardly in batteries, even though transmission might have changed, but due to lack of efficiency in chain, they may use belts or something like
Like
Ola and
that has come up with an idea of using belt. They're doing good at it. So there will be a lot of changes. For sure, you will not be selling, or even if you will be consistently selling this, buyers will not be
We're not
interested.
taking, yes, that's true.
Because to make one car, yeah, from 165 you will get down to 1 lakh. If you're working 10 years into that same car.
And the competition says that the prototype that you are selling, that you are making, is what you are selling it, right, in the business. But you can include more variants of the same prototype, maybe at lower cost, because since see you have to satisfy the need of every customer, right?
True, true.
My budget might not be for buying a 4,50,000 car. So maybe another variant which has lesser power, lesser costly material. So the alternative materials for it, and maybe I can afford it at maybe 2 lakh,
So
3 lakh.
basically, so what you're saying is, if we want to, if you're not making any changes in our go-kart and we want to keep selling it same over the long period of years, then we need to decrease our pricing.
Because
Much more than
Just to keep it little model specific.
Yes, sir.
See, maybe today as we see any company,
Right.
I'll just give you an example of company itself. Like now in MG, we have two cars, the ZSEV and Comet, right? So Comet comes into much more into the Indian market because it comes into a car which is priced at a rupees of 7 lakhs,
Okay.
right?
Yes, sir.
So a budget-friendly customer also, he can purchase that particular car.
Yeah.
He'll have to compromise little on his run. He can travel short distances. But if a customer is having a budget of quite high, like he needs to run long, then he can go for a budget of 25, 26 lakhs, and he'll have to opt for a ZSEV.
Yes,
So
sir.
until and unless we have much more variant specific into it, Then only we can survive in the market. Correct.
Yeah.
And moreover, with one product, we might start the business, but we will not be running for
Survive.
sure with that same product. We will have to evolve over the time.
That's true. Okay. Thank you, sir. It's been very good.